Right friends, welcome back to Learning Space. This is newspaper editorials discussion of 15th February. I have taken 4 articles of the Hindu and the 2 articles pertaining to disproportionate assets case, and I would like to spend 2-3 minutes on that because it is political issue. And after that, one important issue is there, that the Commerce Ministry's proposal of banning entire foreign direct investment in tobacco sector, and we are going to deliberate on 2 important aspects. One is FCTC of World Health Organization, that is the controlling the tobacco usage, that is the Convention of World Health Organization. Then at the same time we are going to throw some light on plain packaging. What is the meaning of plain packaging of tobacco products? India is yet to implement plain packaging. A question is expected on this, and we are going to throw some light on that. And after that, one article is with regard to irrational allotment of various budgetary allocations to various schemes under Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. So that we are going to deliberate. So we are going to throw more light on the tobacco control, which is the most important issue in this editorial discussion. Look at the first issue. This is with regard to the disproportionate assets case against the VK Sasikala, 2 others, and of course the case also pertains to the former Chief Minister Jayalalitha, and we are going to see the chronology of events. The first and the foremost is Jayalalitha was the Chief Minister for the first time during 1991 to 1996, and in the year 1996 Subramanian Swamy filed a case stating that Jayalalitha as Chief Minister amassed wealth disproportionate to her known sources of income. This occurred in the year 1996, and it took almost 21 years for its logical conclusion, and subsequently after 18 years, and I would like to point out, this case was filed under Prevention of Corruption Act of 1988. Under Prevention of Corruption Act 1988, there was one clause, section, that is 13. Under section 13 of Prevention of Corruption Act, this case was filed by Subramanian Swamy, and subsequently this was shifted to Karnataka based on the request by DMK politician, and in the year 2014 the trial court sentenced Jayalalitha and 3 others, which include VK Sasikala, to imprisonment and also imposed fines, 4 years of imprisonment and fine of 10 crores each on Sasikala and 2 others, and 100 crores fine on Jayalalitha were imposed along with the imprisonment in 2014. So for the trial court it took 18 years to bring it to the logical conclusion, and subsequently Karnataka High Court in May 2015 acquitted all the accused, and subsequently it was stated that there were several errors in the calculations also in the judgment given by Karnataka High Court, and subsequently Karnataka government approached Supreme Court against the judgment of Karnataka High Court, and Supreme Court now restored the trial court order. So the conviction of Jayalalitha stands abated as she died recently, but now the conviction pertains to VK Sasikala and 2 others. That means they have to undergo 4 years imprisonment along with the fine of rupees 10 crore each. Because of this conviction, Sasikala would not be able to contest the elections for a total of 4 plus 6 years. This is 4 years conviction, and subsequently she cannot contest for 6 more years. So total 10 years she cannot contest elections. So this is all about this disproportionate assets case of VK Sasikala and 2 others. Right. So this is political issue. We are concluding this at this juncture. Let us move on to one important aspect, sharpening the fight against tobacco control. It is the agenda of World Health Organization and what are the steps being taken, what needs to be done. This we deliberate for around 10 to 15 minutes, and here what the issue, if you look at the present status, the issue is with regard to a note was circulated by the Commerce Ministry. Commerce Ministry circulated a note stating that all types of foreign direct investment must be banned in tobacco. That is the essence of the note circulated by Commerce Ministry. And what is the present status? The present status is India banned FDI in tobacco manufacturing in 2010, but there is a clause that the foreign tobacco companies are allowed to participate or invest in India through technology collaboration, that is one aspect, licensing agreements, and at the same time forming a trading company. Through these three ways, foreign direct investment can come to India, that is technology collaboration, licensing agreements, forming a trading company. This is the present day status, and let us now look at the present proposal. As per the note circulated by the Ministry of Commerce, it says that all kinds of foreign participation in tobacco sector are to be banned. The proposal is all types of foreign direct investment is to be banned, and government stated that this step is basically to control tobacco usage. Tobacco usage is leading to several diseases, especially throat cancer, lung cancer, and government step is to basically reduce tobacco consumption, and this proposal was not agreed to by Niti Aayog. And now let us look at the reasoning by the government. Government, before coming to this, that means before circulating the note by Commerce Ministry, the reasoning by the government is India mentioned FCTC as the reason for this step. FCTC, we will come to that a little while from now, and India cited FCTC as the reason for stopping all types of foreign direct investment into tobacco sector. Then all the members are under an obligation to reduce the high consumption of tobacco products which pose a grave public health danger. This is as per FCTC by World Health Organization. So, this is the reasoning by the government. Now, if this is implemented, what are the consequences, or you can say what are the complications if this proposal is made through? If this proposal is made through, the main complication is several countries may go against India because India has got bilateral investment treaties with some countries. Bilateral investment treaties, the main purpose of bilateral investment treaties is you cannot discriminate foreign countries against the domestic. That means you cannot discriminate a foreign investment in comparison to domestic investment. In our country, we are not going to ban domestic investment in tobacco sector. Then what is the point in banning foreign direct investment in tobacco sector? And if bilateral investment treaties are there, then firms may drag India to arbitration. That is one point. So, because of this reason, this is not advisable as per this article. And before going ahead, you have to look at what is the World Health Organization Framework Convention on Tobacco Control. What exactly it says? The World Health Organization Framework Convention on Tobacco Control is the first global public health treaty. Please do not forget, it is the first global public health treaty which came into force in the year 2005. That is why because of this treaty, at present there are 180 members are there. At present there are 180 member countries are there. Ultimate goal, that means all the 180 countries must take steps to reduce tobacco consumption. That is as per this convention. So, it affirms the right of all the people to the highest standards of health. then it is developed by the countries in response to the globalization of the tobacco epidemic. Tobacco epidemic is not concentrated only to few countries. It is a global problem. That is why this first convention, first health convention was brought in 2005. This basically the aim is to tackle some of the causes of the epidemic. Some of the causes of the epidemic are to be tackled, and liberalization and FDI, complex factors with cross border effects, tobacco advertising. If tobacco advertising is promoted, then it may lead to increased consumption of tobacco. That is why there should be restrictions on advertisement of tobacco also. At the same time, promotion and sponsorship beyond national borders, these are to be curbed. Basically, to curb all these activities, this convention was brought, and basically it also controls illicit trade in tobacco products. So, this convention basically looks at regulating promotion activities and so as to reduce tobacco consumption. Right. This is all about FCTC, and India is also signatory to FCTC. So, India has got responsibility to reduce the consumption of tobacco. And please do not forget, India implemented 85% of the space for warnings. All of you are familiar with these. Came into force from 1st April 2016, right. And one more important aspect which India could not implement till date is plain packaging. This is very important. Plain packaging. What is the meaning of plain packaging? Plain packaging means generic or standardized packaging. Here corporate logos, trademarks and all branding activities are prohibited. If you look into this picture, it will be very clear to you. There will be standardized cigarette packs, and the brand will be written only in small letters. This is brand. Irrespective of the brand, it should have standard package, and package should not glorify the manufacturer of these cigarettes. At the same time, no trade promotion, only the brand will be written in small letters. So, this is plain packaging. The basic idea is the manufacturer should not be glorified, no trademark, and branding should not be there except writing in small letters the name of the manufacturer. So, this is plain packaging. You may have a doubt, which is the first country to adopt plain packaging. Australia is the first country in 2012 to adopt plain packaging, and 3 more countries passed the laws in 2016. Whatever the reason, India is not going in this direction, and as per the available report from Australia, there is a reduction in tobacco usage after the implementation of plain packaging. So, this is the need of the hour. We would like to throw some light on plain packaging. I have given all the details here, that is it is generic, standardized or homogeneous packaging, and it requires removal of all branding such as corporate logos and trademarks, and the manufacturers can print only the brand name in small size, in the designated size, as I have already explained you. And in addition to the health warnings, it also contains toxic constituents, right. So, the appearance of all tobacco packs will be standardized. That is the meaning of plain packaging, right. And if you look further, plain packaging, and what about convention? What about convention? That means this FCTC, that is a Framework Convention on Tobacco Control, what it says about this plain packaging. Especially this articles 11 and 13 of FCTC recommend that parties consider adaptation of plain packaging, that is part of this convention, but very few countries adopted this plain packaging. Second point is, as I have already told you, Australia became the first country to implement plain packaging in December 2012, and Ireland, France and UK passed the laws to begin implementing plain packaging from May 2016. And another important aspect is, who recommends that plain packaging be implemented as part of comprehensive approach to tobacco control. So, comprehensive approach means you have to view the problem in a comprehensive way, not in isolation. You have to see all aspects and you have to consider all the aspects to control tobacco usage, that is comprehensive program, right. And at the same time, the available evidence with regard to the plain packaging concludes that the basic aim is, as I have already told you, it is reducing the attractiveness of tobacco products. Tobacco products attractiveness should be reduced. That is why branding will not be glorified, trademark will not be glorified, and advertisement will not be glorified. So, that is the main purpose of this plain packaging, and restricting the use of pack as a form of advertising and promotion. The cigarette pack should not be used for advertising and promotion, and limiting misleading packaging, right. At the same time, increasing the effectiveness of health warnings. So, this is the main purpose of plain packaging. Whatever the reason, India has not adopted plain packaging till date, and the need of the hour is to adopt plain packaging in addition to what we have already adopted, that is 85% of pictorial warnings from 1st April 2016, that first adopted, and plain packaging is the need of the hour than restricting foreign direct investment. If foreign direct investment is restricted, then domestic companies will expand their operations. Overall cigarette usage may not be reduced, right. And now let us come back to the discussion. To reduce tobacco consumption, what are the alternatives? To reduce tobacco consumption, what are the alternatives? And some of them are suggested in this article. The first and the foremost is, India should consider adopting plain packaging. As I have already told you, in Australia, the usage reduced by 12% in smoking rates, there is a reduction of 12%. Second point is, FCTC talks about adopting packaging and labeling requirements basically to create better awareness about harmful effects of tobacco consumption. Basically, here better awareness is to be created among the people to reduce the harmful effects of tobacco usage, especially youth. Then FCTC does not contain strict provisions of banning FDI. This convention does not strictly ban FDI, but at the same time when FDI is prohibited, then what will happen? Domestic players could occupy the market, and that may not result in reduction in tobacco consumption, right. So, next point, if you see, another effective measure is to further increase taxes. In fact, on cigarettes there is a scope for further increasing tax, and the tax on tobacco products is known as sin tax. Please do not forget, the tax you can call it as sin tax, and it can be exorbitantly high up to 60%, 80%. And the goods like cigarettes, BDs, they comes under demerit goods, right. These things please do not forget, demerit goods as well as sin tax. Then the fifth point is, due to political reasons, this is very important, due to political reasons, excise duties on BDs are not being increased. There is only marginal increase in excise duties on BDs. BDs are widely used in rural parts of the country in some states. So, excise duties on BDs must be increased so as to control tobacco usage, right. So, here the final conclusion is, government should think about such measures instead of altogether regulating FDI, which may not give desired result. It may have only partial result, because domestic companies may ramp up operations and the purpose will not be served, but the aspects which to be looked at are plain packaging, that is one aspect. Second aspect is, youth should be totally focused so as to reduce tobacco consumption. The harmful effects must be educated, especially among youth. Third point is, BDs excise duty must be increased. The fourth point is, on cigarettes also there is a scope for increasing further excise duties. So, these are all the aspects which are to be looked at when you look at tobacco control, right. I hope you have sufficient thought with regard to tobacco control in our country. And look at the next article, this is with regard to environmental issue, the ecological balance sheet. The article is quite critical with regard to allotments for certain schemes, and all of you are familiar with certain schemes. Please look into this slide. There is a Project Tiger, or you can say National Tiger Conservation Authority. This is a statutory body and the allotment is not up to the mark. And similarly Project Elephant, another scheme is there, integrated development of wildlife habitats, at the same time conservation of natural resources and ecosystem. So, these are all the schemes where central government makes allotments, and the article is quite critical about allotments to these schemes, and at the same time the article is also critical about underutilization of the funds allotted. Not only allotment, the article is quite critical about underutilization of funds allotted, right. Let us come back to the article. This is environmental issue, and there is an apparent increase of around 19% in budgetary allocation this year, and in 2015 the budgetary allocation for Ministry of Environment was reduced by 25%, subsequent year it was increased by 25%, this year it is increased by 19%. So, there is no rationality, and another aspect is most of the funds go underutilized, right. Then another important aspect is specific issues of wildlife conservation, pollution abatement, they were not taken care of properly in the budget. That is the crux of this article. So, here the second point is important. All the issues like forest management, resource conservation, pollution control and wildlife protection, these are all interconnected. Wildlife protection, then this forest management, resources conservation, pollution control. So, these are all interconnected, you should not see them in isolation. Environmental protection involves looking in a comprehensive manner things like forest management, resource conservation, pollution control and wildlife protection. And if you look at the third point, complete absence of corresponding measures to boost alternative energy sources. Alternative energy sources as well as placing curbs on polluting industries. This is another area in our country, basically things are not up to the mark. Curbs on polluting industries and vehicles, and then adopting sustainable development approaches to economic growth, these are not taken proper care, and a sum of just 40 crore for climate change action plan. Just 40 crores of budget for climate change action plan and 74 crore for central pollution control board, they are matters of great concern. That much money is not sufficient. Then similarly certain heads are mentioned: environment and ecology, coastal management, environment monitoring and governance, national afforestation management, these have got mega funds. That means not sufficient for their operations. If you look at the next one, there is funds for Project Tiger, for protection of tiger population. This was started somewhere around 1970s, if I am not wrong. This National Tiger Conservation Authority, this is the statutory body to implement Project Tiger. Project Tiger was started somewhere around 1973, and subsequently this National Tiger Conservation Authority, this is a statutory body. In fact, this is started to implement Project Tiger, and similarly there are other schemes are there like Project Elephant, integrated development of wildlife habitats like that, and here the allotment of funds is not up to the mark. And then another important aspect is overall budgetary allotment for the Environment Ministry is irrational if one looks at allocation wise. Then in 2015 it was reduced by 25% and increased by around 25% in the following year, and this is totally irrational. And another important aspect is underutilization of existing funds. That means government is not showing much interest or inclination basically to entirely spending money allotted for environmental projects, and funds transferred to states or UTs for various centrally sponsored schemes have also been underutilized, right. So, this is all about this environmental issue. We came to the end of newspaper discussion today, because most of the articles in today's newspapers pertaining to the Tamil Nadu issue, which is political. So, that is why I thought not to discuss much about that. So, today we discussed one important issue of reducing tobacco consumption, FCTC, as well as plain packaging, right. So, tomorrow we are going to deliberate again at 11 o'clock, and today record number of satellites were launched by ISRO. Tomorrow we are going to deliberate on this aspect, and please do join at 12 o'clock for comprehension ability discussion, and have a nice day. Thank you. Thanks a lot.